All right, Kevin Jackson filling in for our 5 questions this week. Coming off the national duels, I know it's not the outcome we wanted, but 3 really good duels. Lots of experience, dominant win against ASU, like neck and neck with Nebraska, and then turn right around and have a kind of a tough start against Missouri, which kind of set the tone in that duel. But what are some of the biggest takeaways that you guys have as a coaching staff from a lot of information that second week of the season?
Well, nobody likes losing, but we embrace the situation. We embrace the position that we're in. We really thought the guys competed hard, competed with their heart. Obviously, we thought we wrestled Nebraska toe-to-toe, had a chance to win that dual meet. We had a couple matches that didn't go our way that could have went our way. So we're right there with the number 2 team ranked in the country with the ability to win that match. Coming off that match, going right into the Missouri match, I don't want to say we didn't have the time to recover or regroup, but it was a little bit of that for the guys, I think. I think coming off that emotional match with Nebraska didn't put us in the right mindset to compete the way we're capable of competing. I think that was a learning experience for our young team. When you look when you look at our team, the youth is evident. We have some true freshmen in there, quite a few true freshmen in there, quite a few redshirt freshmen in there, young sophomores. So we do have a young team that continue to get better. The national teams were well worth going to, a great event. Our guys love competing. Sean loves competing in a dual meet setting. So overall, it was a great experience for our team. I think it got us ahead of schedule. A couple guys had great performances, which took them to another higher ranking nationally, which puts them in a great position to qualify that weight class. So really excited about where we're at. Obviously, we got to get better in areas, but we're excited about where we're at and where we're going.
What were some of the biggest things that you came back and, took to the practice room yesterday, want to see this weekend and the duels coming up?
Well, our fundamental concerns are still there a little bit with our hand fight, with the way we get off the bottom, with the way we finish leg attack. So our areas of concentration hasn't changed. One big thing we did take away is our conditioning is off the chart. Our level of conditioning, what we do in our preseason, what we do in our early season, really sets the tone for where our guys are at condition-wise, which gives us a lot of confidence going into this weekend's duels. But one big takeaway was our guys will compete against the best guys in the country at the highest level, and they're very disappointed when they don't have the success that they want to have and we want to have. So that motivated us to come back in the room and work on our areas, getting off the bottom the right way, controlling tie-up, dominating tie-up, more attacks, more our attack rate to be a little bit higher, and for more finishes to happen the way they should happen. So we did come away with a clear view of the things that we need to continue to get better on, and the guys are totally bought in. We had a great practice yesterday. We're planning on a great practice today.
I want to touch on a couple standout performers. Probably the first one that comes to mind is Dylan Gilcher. He's up 2 weights, came into this event unranked, beat 2 top 15 guys. He's in the rankings now. What have you seen out of him, I guess, both this weekend and then, all summer, all fall leading into the season?
Well, I mean, it's not a surprise because how hard he works and how hard he competes. That was never a question as far as how hard he trains and how hard he competes. He needed to confirm his fundamental positions. He needed to confirm his areas of concentration, the things that he does well and the areas that he needs to continue to get better in. He's competing at a very, very high level. He's connected to everything that we're teaching in this room, and it's a great example of the development that goes on here at the University of Michigan. You saw what he did as a true freshman and a redshirt freshman. Now you're seeing him beating All-Americans in the second competition of the year. So he continues to improve. He continues to compete the way we want to see Wolverines compete, and he's climbing his way up in the rankings. And he's only going to continue to get better as he gets used to the weight class. He has jumped 2 weight classes. So for him to be doing the things that he's doing at the new weight class, it's very impressive.
The other guy I think had a big standout weekend was Brock, another guy who jumped 2 weight classes. Yeah. So, how are you seeing his style transition up at 84?
Well, Brock had a disappointing loss against the Missouri kid, but at the same time, if you really watch that match, he probably wrestled Sinclair as well as many guys have wrestled him. He was in on his legs. He was in scoring positions on several occasions, and I think Brock will still continue to get used to the size and the weight that he hasn't competed at in years past. So he's getting used to the size and strength of his opponents. But great win against Nebraska, a kid that's beaten pretty much everyone at that weight class over the last few years, and he really pretty much dominated him. But Brock is slowly but surely connecting the dots of how to wrestle a world-class style and how to allow that style to connect to his individual style that's going to allow him to be the best wrestler he possibly can be. I'm really excited about where he's at mentally, and even more surprised or more excited about the connections that he's made to enhance his overall wrestling, because he's only a little ways away, and we're pushing that envelope every single day to get him to where he needs to get to. But it was a big jump, not only in his results, but mentally more than anything else for Brock.
Sometimes it's hard to talk about Brock without talking about Bo. Do you see kind of the same things out of Bo? He's up a weight. Maybe coulda, shoulda had a win against the number 4 kid from Nebraska.
Yeah.
How do you like his development?
Well, again, we're never happy with losing.
Right.
So it was really devastating, disappointing losses, because we know how good Bo is. And I always get them confused, Brock, Bo. But I know how good Bo is. We know how good Bo is, and so when he loses, it's devastating, because we know how good he is and how capable he is. He's got to give himself a few more opportunities to score points. Just a few more opportunities, because every time he does give himself those opportunities or puts himself in that position, he either scores it or he comes really close to scoring it. When I say scoring, I mean takedowns. And so it could have went either way. The officials could have gave us a takedown as easily as they didn't give us a takedown. Unfortunately, the second time it's happened to him over the last couple of years, but he's right there with the best guys in the country. We're really excited about his progress and his progression. And also, we think the 174 weight class is a perfect weight class for him. And we think as the year goes on that we'll continue to get bigger and stronger and embrace the weight, as his opponents will start getting tired of cutting the weight, every single week, and it kind of puts a drain on them mentally and physically. So we feel we're going to continue to get stronger in every single way. And Bo and Brock are kind of that measuring stick for not only themselves, but as us as a program, as a team.
One more bonus question. You kind of touched on our youth earlier, and that was one thing that was kind of smacked you in the face a little bit on Saturday, that we are extremely young.
Yeah.
But does that also kind of excite you with the opportunity for growth kind of all over our lineup?
For sure, because you see a guy like Gage Botero who loses matches, but he's in a position to win. He probably could have won 3-0 this weekend, with the way he was wrestling. He had the lead in his first match against Arizona State. He had a lead with 20 seconds left. So again, it's just a matter of a young athlete like him connecting the dots of, lead management or building up on your lead towards the end of the match. And so when you look at guys like Eden and Gage and some of the other younger guys that we have in our lineup, I think we had 7 new faces in our lineup for the national duels in that Michigan lineup, and the majority of them were freshmen, and a couple of them were true freshmen. So when you look at that and you see what we have coming in from a recruiting standpoint, that excites me, because I think we're going to continue to get better and perform our best as we normally do at the Big Tens and the Nationals. But you can kind of see the writing on the wall of what we're really working towards, and the recruits we're trying to get in, have gotten in, and only have maybe 1 or 2 more pieces to add to say, okay, that's a team that's gonna be in the national championship hunt. And we really do feel like that. And with what we saw on Saturday, that excites us even more, because we have competitors that are going to go out there and fight. Sometimes it doesn't always look that way when we get beat in fundamentally flawed positions. When we show some fundamental flaws, it doesn't always look like that. But it's a process that our guys are going to embrace, and we're going to continue to get better like we always do.
All right, KJ, thanks.
Go Blue.